welcome to another episode of Shooting
the Shit with Rachael
and Neal Young. So we're talking all things real estate photography business growth, mindset, and getting it done. Here come your favorite true entrepreneurs, Rachael and Neal Young, shooting the shit.
I have a ferret on the podcast. Like if we're kind of in a slump, like what kind of things do you do?
Talking about a boob light.
Straddling a power line.
Nice photo.
Ooh, I need that.
I'm like red right now because I'm embarrassed. I go like this. I love it.
Come in.
Sure, use your podcast voice.
You know, over here, I'm pitting out.
Drone's like flipping to the ground.
That's a great callback.
Chit-chatting.
Is that what you call that?
Hey. Podcast numero uno. So, welcome to Shooting
the Shit with Rachael and Neal. So Neal and I met, I was on a Shooting Spaces podcast, which is a real estate photography podcast. And Neal reached out to me over Instagram and said, hey, I have a bunch of questions. I just want to, maybe set up a meeting and we can kind of just discuss a few things. And I said, sure, not a problem. And then I got busy and didn't get back to him for like 2 weeks. And then we finally scheduled it. And he said, I'm willing to pay you for your time. I said, no, don't worry about it. Let's just, I'll just answer your questions. And if we decide to move forward with mentorship or something, we can do that. That's fine. So we had a great conversation. As soon as I got off and like scheduled the call with Neal, I went on his Instagram and checked him out, and I was just really blown away by what he's doing with his business. And he's only, a year and a half in, right, Neal? Yeah. So he's doing a lot of what I'm doing with my clients, like really trying to add value, help them feel comfortable on camera, help them to get their message out. And I think there's so much importance behind the marketing side of the business that is overlooked in real estate photography. So I was just instantly felt a connection with Neal. So at the end of our conversation, we talked for like an hour and a half.
I know.
It was a long call, but it was great. And he kind of threw in there, hey, if you ever want to collaborate on something and maybe do a podcast, like you might, let me know if you'd be down to do something like that. And I was like, oh my gosh, like I'm reading a book right now and it says do a podcast. And so that's right up my alley. It's what I'm actually wanted to do anyway. So it just like all the stars aligned and the puzzle pieces came together. And so here we are today, starting with our podcast. And yeah,
totally. Yeah, no, it was just, I don't know. It's just one of those things. It's funny how things come together sometimes. But yeah, I saw Rachael on the Shooting Space, which is a great podcast. You should check it out as well. And I was just like, man, I just love how smart she is about what she's doing. Like there's so many things you mentioned. I'm like, oh, that's so clever. Duh, right? I remember hearing she had done something like 1,500 houses or maybe 1,600 houses that year. And I'm like wow.
1,650.
There you go.
Busy year.
And I'm like, okay. Because a lot of the stuff that, you're currently doing is where I want to be. You know what I mean? So it's kind of, I think it's a cool parallel that we have where, you're 6 years in and this is literally just about the first year that I've been full-time. Okay. So I'm not even quite there to a full-time year. Prior to that, I've been doing photography since forever, but always, part-time as more of a side hustle. So this is the first year where I'm like knocking on wood. Am I about to say that, yes, I'm definitely full-time now? Because through the winter, where as we know, it's seasonal doing our gig, right? So I've been a waiter for 20 years trying to accomplish other tasks at the same time. You know what I mean? And so, but yeah, so I think it's a cool kind of parallel that we have where I'm kind of evolving on I hit my goals for my first year and actually beat them. But now I'm thinking about next year and you're at 6 years and you're at, what's your next goal? Because does it ever end? I don't think so, right? It's always evolving.
No, I don't think so. And it's like 2 years ago, my goal was to build an empire. I wanted to be like the next big real estate company in the Seattle area. And COVID hit. And my business doubled from just the COVID volume. And then one of my photographer friends here in Washington moved to Montana and he sold me his client list. So that doubled my business as well. So my business tripled in 2020. With his client list, I also got a full-time shooter. So I had help, but it was a beast. And so through that growth, like I've learned so much in the last 2 years, but I've kind of scaled back a little bit. I'm like, I don't know that I want to be that big company. Like that would require a lot more support and management, which I'm trying to figure out now because like you'll find out, I think you already know this, but this business is really a referral business, right? So
Yeah.
like if you're good and you serve your customers right and you present yourself well on social media, you will get a lot of leads and a lot of referrals. So for me, it's out of control. It's out of control in a good way,
Yeah.
but it's like 30 new clients a month, literally. It's insane.
Wow.
And it's great, but it's like, okay, when you start, it's one thing to get a new client that has one listing every 2 or 3 months, but when you bring on some of those top producing agents that give you shoots every like 1 or 2 a week, it really piles up. So it's really important to find good shooters that can support you, get that, get an admin, like just start building out your whole team for sure.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, totally. And that's kind of where I'm at now is like I did that, year solo all by myself doing everything. Right. And then, halfway almost dying to the summer, I got to the point where I'm like, all right, I got to start getting some additional help that I'm just not going to survive like this. I don't want to survive like this, and so that's
were you doing, sorry to interrupt, were you doing all your own editing for that whole year? Okay.
Yeah. Well, no, I haven't been doing it the whole year. No. In the summer, it got to a point where, especially when the days are longer and it's 8:00, there's still sun outside. So I'm doing some twilight shoot, let's say, and I'm there past that. Then I got to drive home. Then I got to get home. Then I got to edit. Then I got to get up and I got to go to, the next shoot at, wake up at, 7 or whatever to go to get ready for a shoot. I was like, I was on the edge. I'm not going to survive like this doing, multiple shoots in the day. It was great because that's what I needed to do for the bills and everything. But I was like, I'm not going to live like this. So I remember literally talking to one of the contacts that books me for one of these clients that you talked about that book you all the time. Mm-hmm. And she was like, I'm a little worried for you. I'm like, yeah, me too. I'm not gonna make it home. I was, too wired, like, caffeine to survive. And you know what I mean? Yeah. So yeah, I found some editors to help me day edit at night. And, cause I've always also done the over delivering where I've given them the images the next day. Mm-hmm. And so it's not like I could just let them pile up for a day or two. Right. So that's why outsourcing really was like life-saving kind of, thing to do. Now there's other things I want to do too. And so now I'm like thinking about, okay, I'd love to bring some more people into the fold who could work with me. And then I can focus on some more of these other things where I want to grow and, that kind of stuff too. So there's a lot of stuff I want to do, in the future and new kind of stuff that I'm focusing on more like social media and stuff like that. And, so there's always something, right?
Yes, there's always something. Definitely. I think a big part of this podcast is going to be talking about mindset and how to handle change and things that come your way. Because as most of you know, if you're already in this business, there is changes on a daily basis and you have to be able to handle them in a good, like healthy way. Otherwise, it'll just take you through the ringer.
Yeah. No. And it's funny. And we both have talked a little bit now. Rachael is big on all of the, self-help audiobooks and all that kind of stuff. I've dabbled in it a little bit and found a lot of it very interesting. And some of it's like, why didn't I think of that? And then some of it's like, oh, I've already been doing that, not known that I'm doing that. And that's some of the reasons why you have some success is you're hitting some of the same notes. But yeah, I think that's going to be very cool to kind of chat up a little bit about whatever we're maybe currently listening to or what we have listened to and stuff that we've just kind of learned firsthand and in our own experiences. And I think too, not just, some stuff that we've probably learned in our experience too. I don't know about you, but I wasn't you've done it for 6 years, but I know before that you did portraiture photography for families and kids and stuff, right?
Yeah, I did families, children, and newborns. My daughter was born in 2012. In November, and I wanted to do those cute little newborn photos. So I hopped on YouTube and started learning how to do it. And I had just gotten a camera for my birthday, so it was perfect. And yeah, they're horrible. Like, of course, my daughter's cute, but they're so bad.
Oh, yeah.
Like, she's in a basket, and like the basket was too small. She's like, I put her in front of a window. I mean, it was fun. It was definitely, and my mom came and helped. So it was cool. It was a great experience. But that is what triggered my passion for photography. And yeah, that's when I discovered Creative Live and
Oh
started.
yeah.
So if you don't know, Creative Live is a platform. It used to be, this was 9 years ago, 10 years ago. So it was a platform with like live full day trainings on photography businesses was their main focus was photography. So you could watch for 3 days straight and they would teach you the ins and outs of their business. So you wouldn't just learn how to shoot, you learn lighting, scheduling, pricing, like how to deliver products, like everything. So it was great. It was very helpful for me to just hear that. And I was on a very tight budget at the time. So you could buy the course for like $200 or you could just watch it live. So I would just have it on. I was a stay-at-home mom, so I just have it on in the background and listen to it while I was hanging out with the kids and catch what I could. So, and I learned a ton that way. So, and then YouTube, of course, like when I started doing real estate photography, I started watching Rich Baum and learned a lot from him as well, and learned how to edit and all that stuff. So, I mean, YouTube University is amazing. Anything you want to learn is on YouTube. So all you got to do is go find it, right? go find it and just do it. I think a big part of my success is that I haven't ever quit. And when there's a challenge that arises, I just figure it out one way or another, whether it be reaching out to people or going on YouTube or, Googling, whatever. And a lot of trial and error, like just keep practicing and trying new things. So
Yeah. We have a lot of experiences too with other things we did before real estate that also kind of apply in lessons and stuff. Like, I took a break from waiting tables and worked for a software company for several years as, customer support and training new customers and stuff like that. And so a lot of that actually, I think, has helped me a ton with dealing with my own business and customers and stuff like that. So yeah, I think all this stuff will be cool to kind of pick some topics and chat it out, and probably have some guests come and talk with us too for their own take on things too. I think will be pretty cool for people to hear about. Rachel's goals. I know what your goals are.
I'm going to have a freaking Lamborghini.
I was gonna say, Rachel's goal is a Lambo, which is an awesome goal that she has for hitting her mark.
A little obnoxious to show up to a real estate photo shoot in a Lambo, but why not? Why not? I mean, dream big. Why not? Right?
Yeah,
sky's the limit. I heard you say, like, knock on wood, I'm going to go full time this year. And I think right there, your mindset was a little bit limiting because you're almost thinking like, I think I can do it. You got to just own it, Neal.
No.
I'm going to freaking do it this year. Like, I'm going to do it. And you are, because you have the personality and the customer service skills to really take it to that next level. And I think with the social you're doing and your reels are on point.
To give a little insight into where I'm coming from, in October, there was no question. I was full time. And I was just going to keep rolling. And I had some new clients that I didn't have the year before. And so I knew what I did the year before when I was still kind of half in. I was waiting tables, but they were working around my schedule. Like anytime I booked something, I just didn't work. Like they were awesome. They're in, don't burn your bridges. It's follow that rule, because that's the only reason that happened after I left my tech job. And I just realized after I got out of it that I didn't want to go back, and I wanted to do photography, and I was just going to find a way to do it. So the only way to find a way to do it was to go back to waiting tables. This winter, I had all these new clients, and I was doing better than I ever did before. And I thought that they were going to help me get through the winter, because I knew it was, slowed down the previous year that I'd been doing it part-time. But I thought that they were going to pull me through this past winter. Two things happened. Family got COVID and we were restricted for 2 weeks right when I finally had some bookings. And then the holidays hit right after Thanksgiving. Things just went for me. There was like nothing. And I was like, all right, well, what can I do to try and even things out, to just survive? Because I don't want my foot back in that door. I want to be full time. And so I came up with, and I'm still sort of beta with it, with a few of my closest clients that are awesome, trusting me to do this, but we're doing social media content for them. And it was something I said, all right, you're going to commit to doing it for 6 months with me. And we're gonna just get once a month, we're gonna get together. We're gonna work for a couple hours together, get you a bunch of content, so you have content to go throughout that month, or for the following month, since we're working for the next month or whatever. But and so that's the only thing that just barely saved me paying the bills, because those couple months where there was nothing, everything I saved up from the previous great year where I beat all my goals, all went to mortgage, all went to bills, out the window real quick. So little insight into why I'm like full time.
Yeah. Well, and that's so true. I mean, in this business, it's just the way it is. Like people do not sell their houses around Christmas for a good reason, and I struggled with that too in the beginning when I started out. I didn't realize how slow it was going to be in the winter the first year or two, and it is. I mean, it's like scary slow because it halts in December, especially. It comes.
Yeah.
I had like a full week off this year, which was great. I absolutely
You're like,
look
"Yay!"
forward to the holidays now. I'm like, yes, I get time off.
Yeah.
But it's my time to think about marketing. It's my time to work on, a lot of my marketing stuff. Like I had a social media gal that was working for me. She was fantastic. And then she raised her rates on me. And I was like, I'm going to just do it myself. Like I was feeling cheap and poor because no money was coming in, right, in December. So I decided I'm just going to do it myself. So I planned 3 months of content, repurposed that into my newsletters, and I had 3 months of content. And then I realized, last month, I'm like, okay, it's getting busy again. And this is going to be impossible for me to do this. So I hired her back. So we're back on board together, and I'm really excited because she's amazing. She's amazing.
And you realize too, like kind of the flip side of what we kind of are on the opposite side of that sometimes with other people realizing that we're worth the money, right? It's like, okay, you're worth the money. I don't want to do it.
Yeah. Like you can go cheaper and use the cheaper photographer who's brand new, who doesn't do very good quality. And like, yeah, you might save $100, but you're probably going to call me and say, can you reshoot this? I think a big part of that is like, stay in your lane, know what you're good at.
Yeah.
And really just focus on that, and then hire other people out. Like when you can, right? Hire other people out to help you out with your business. That's a big part of growth. I'm listening to The One Thing. It's about really focusing on one thing, like one specific thing, and putting your whole heart into that one task in order to get it done. So for me, this is huge. Like focus is a huge problem for me. I'm like all over the place. A little maybe ADD, definitely ADD, but learning how to harness it through the focus. Neal is pointing at himself for those of you that can't see him right now.
That's right. Oh, right. Podcast Neal.
Yeah, podcast Neal. They can't see you. But focus for me has always been a struggle, and there are ways to manage it in a natural way versus just drugging yourself or taking something for it. At least for me, because mine's pretty mild, I think. But this book is great. The One Thing, it just really gets you to think about, okay, what's important right now? What do I need to focus on? So like in December, for me, it was like, okay, I need to sit down and plan my content and just sit and do it and focus. And if I have no sound around me, people aren't around me, I can really get into it and just get into a jive with it. And I really enjoy it. So I love the marketing aspect and coming up with the copyright and stuff for my posts and stuff as well. I think it's really, really fun. So
yeah, and I should say that was one of the other things I watched. Shooting Spaces also has the video portion. So I was listening to the podcast originally. We're always in the car driving all the time, so we're listening to stuff, right? Then I watched the podcast because I heard him talking about your profile on social media, and they're like, "Oh, there's not a lot of pictures of houses, a lot of pictures of like you and stuff." And I was like, "Yes." I feel the same way. I felt that way, and it's something I'm talking to my agents about. Is businesses are really, for that kind of business, are about, can be about the person a lot, and they may choose you even for that reason. As opposed to just a product that you're supplying. So I remember like seeing the work that you were doing on your content. When I watched that video, I was really impressed with the quality of it and some of the ways you had talked about how you were getting some of your content and what you were doing for content for your agents and stuff like that. And I thought, oh man, yeah, she does really cool stuff. So I was really interested in that too. So yeah, you're on point.
Thank you. It's called a lifestyle brand, and I think every agent needs it. It's a soft way to sell to your customers. So Nike is the perfect example. Nike doesn't just sell t-shirts and shoes. They put their clothing on athletes and then show their athletes living with the clothing on. So it shows more of a lifestyle. So I'm kind of doing that same thing with me. I show a lot of pictures of me in a house, or like reading my book, or, have some of me walking my dog here pretty soon, but just me being me, doing my day-to-day things. And I'm touching on real estate photography in a lot of my posts, but a lot of them are also about mindset and then adding value to real estate agents. Yeah. So I want to really contribute something to them and help them grow and get more leads as well. So
Yeah, and I think maybe that's something I just naturally drawn to you too. Is I've always felt like connected in that way with this. Isn't I don't just like take the pictures and not care about it anymore. When I see an agent has success, like I've always felt like part of it. I know I'm just taking the photos and I do a lot more than that. I feel like part of the team and I'm excited when the agents succeed. And so part of the whole social media not only was, yeah, I needed to survive through the winter, but the thing that's exciting about it is I'm really excited about a couple of these agents that are doing it with me because I really think it's going to help them grow. And I just think they're going to kill it because it's really fun watching them. And a lot of them, they're terrified of doing this, and they took a chance with me. And it's like, I love helping. I'm a helper. It comes down to that. If what I was doing for a job, I didn't feel like I was helping, I don't think I'd be happy. But that's one thing I've come to really love about real estate is the little adventures that we have. And I've been really fortunate. I don't know, probably you too, but it's not always been the story I've heard, but I've been very fortunate that the people that I work with, I just really like the agents I work with and we have a good time. And I actually really want them to just nail it out of the park, and I'm just excited for them and feel like I am a part of that. I am a part of the team and excited to be a part of the team.
yeah, I feel the same way. Like I've heard a lot of these photography groups that you're on, a lot of people complain about their clients and complain about situations that they get into that are, a little sticky. And I think we should address some of those things on this podcast for sure. Because I think there's different ways to handle things. And what you put, like you attract the clients that you want, right? And the way that you interact with them has a big part to do with that. So, but yeah, I love going to jobs and when the clients are there, I just like hanging out with them and talking to them and asking them questions about their business, and it all kind of triggers my mind and gives me more ideas of how I can improve and areas that I can like explore outside of just photography to help them and, grow my business.
Yeah, totally. No, it's super cool. Yeah. And to your point, definitely, I think there's a lot that can be discussed about that. And I've heard a lot of, one of the things I would like to talk about is I have heard a lot of negativity towards agents. And I think that some of that you also have to kind of look at yourself as well and what you're doing as well, not just at the reaction you're getting. You know what I mean? So I think it's important that we can maybe discuss some of these things and look forward to actually talking to some of our customers too. I've never really seen that on any podcast. And one day I just thought like, nobody is talking to their client on these podcasts. Wouldn't it be interesting to hear their perspective? Because you might not know what could help them because we're trying to like guess on our side. Here's what they want. Here's what they want. Why not ask what they want?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so that'll be fun. I know I would definitely have a few that will come on. So,
oh, that'd be sick. Yeah,
it would be fun to have other industry experts on as well, like maybe a stager or someone, so we can just kind of help people understand all the aspects that go into listing a home.
Yeah, and I'm sure there's all kinds of information there that could be helpful to the business and potentially other avenues for potential revenue for your business. Talking to some of these people you might not know about till you hear some of these discussions. You never know.
Yeah, and the networking's huge. Like I've networked with the stager. We went out and had happy hour. I was drinking non-alcoholic beer, but anyways, her and I have a deal now where, she sends clients my way. She gives them $100 discount on their photos. She basically says, if you do photos of me, you'll get $100 off, but you have to use Rachael. And then I give her the photos to use on her social media. So it's a great little partnership. It gets me new clients. It gets her photos for her social media. And she's just an awesome person. I just love being around her. So it's a cool little collab. So, there's ways that you can network with all these people within the industry and, I just want to help lift people up too. I feel like what I've been doing is working really well. And I get a lot of compliments about my social media and my website and all that. So I really want to help other small businesses, entrepreneurs, real estate photographers just develop their brand and their messaging and help them to take their business to the next level.
Yeah, totally. 100%. And yeah, if I wasn't doing this, whatever I was doing, I'd feel the same way. How can we help other people? I found a lot of joy and happiness doing this. Even through all the hard times and struggles, I'm never waking up in the morning going, I have to go shoot a house. Like I I generally enjoy it,
Exactly.
and
Yeah.
and I know sitting in my old desk, while there were parts of my old job that I really love, my tech job, and parts of waiting tables that I always loved, they weren't, I just knew they weren't what I wanted to do, and they weren't making me happy. And
Mhm.
so I just want like to share like, hey guys, there, you could do this.
Yeah. There's this whole other business that you could be
You could,
loving every
there's
day.
so
Yeah.
much over here. Come over here.
Yeah, I know. I'm so grateful for what I have. Like, honestly, this is the coolest industry. I'm so glad that when I got divorced, I decided I'm just going to do real estate photography.
Yeah.
I don't know if, I don't think I explained this part, but I was a stay-at-home mom, got divorced in 2017, and I was doing like, I don't know, one or two, maybe three portrait shoots a month
Hmm.
when I was a stay-at-home mom. So it was not enough to support myself. And then I had worked for one real estate agent for about a year and a half before I got divorced. So I had learned kind of how to do it. I learned how to edit, kind of had some of the gear. And then when I got divorced, I started thinking about, okay, I need a job. Like, what am I going to do? And my thought in my head is like, okay, well, I have a degree in fashion merchandising. I could go back to retail. And I'm like, no, it's nights, it's weekends, like awful and not very good pay. I'm like, I can't, I'm not doing that. So I got in contact with a girlfriend. She was like, oh, you could join this property management company with me. You'll make like 40,000 a year. And I'm like, oh yes, that would be enough to pay my bills. Like I would just, that'll work. And then, as I started thinking more, I'm like, why don't I just push real estate photography? I know how to do it. So that night I got on Instagram and just started messaging, like friending a bunch of agents and messaging them like super spammy, just terrible. Like, I offer $50 off your first shoot. And I mean, I think I got one guy from that. But I went out to all the offices and handed my card out and just started talking to people and networking. And, just I think a big part of getting going in this business is just talking about it to everyone and explaining what you're doing. Just
Mm,
getting that word out is
yeah.
huge.
Part of the whole mindset thing, right? It's like,
Mhm.
if you're going to do something, you got to say it out loud.
Very true. Like you got to put it
Oh,
out in the universe. And that's why I keep saying I'm going to drive a Lamborghini because it's going to happen.
you're going to drive a Lamborghini. Absolutely.
Yeah. I know it's excessive, but
No,
who
I was
cares?
waiting tables, and I was just doing this, starting to do the real estate photography. And I remember like looking at a calendar and going, okay, if I made, this arbitrary amount of money 4 times a week, I wouldn't have to wait tables anymore. And I remember talking
Mhm.
to one of the servers about it, and they're like, they don't care what I'm talking about. They're like, oh,
Yeah.
God, stop talking about this, Neal. But
Yeah.
but it's proof because I told it to them out loud, right? And then over that next, however long it was, I don't know if it was 6 months, 8 months, whatever, but all of a sudden, slowly, and I literally couldn't figure out how I could charge enough or what the services might be to get that amount that I wanted 4 times a week. And eventually these little, I would mark them, I still mark them on my calendar with a little star the day I hit that mark that I said I needed to hit. And they
Nice.
pop up more and more on the calendar. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. That's great. I remember when I first started out, I called my mom and I told her, she knew I was trying to do the real estate photography thing. And I said, Mom, think about it. If I can do like 3 shoots a day, 5 days a week, I can't even do the math right now because I'm tired, but
Right.
that's
No, exactly.
$300 a pop. Like that's
Yep.
good money,
Yep.
right?
Yep. And that's
What
what I
is
said.
that?
I said, I just
Yeah.
need to make, if I could 4 days, if I only worked 4 days a week,
Right?
and
Yeah.
and I made 400, that was my goal, 400 each of those, 4 days, I'm golden. And I
Yeah.
have 3 days off. Now,
Right.
I don't have 3 days off. That's
And you're not going to have 3 days off if
No.
you keep building because
No.
it's going to be a wildfire.
I do. That is one of my goals, though, is a life goal to work. And I don't feel like I'm working like I used to when I was doing a 9 to 5. Then I also wanted to work 4 days a week because I wanted a 3-day week and I wanted some of my life back. And I didn't have any life. If they'll book me 7 days a week, I currently work 7 days a week. I don't care
wow.
but I get days off. It's kind of like you were saying in December, you're like, well, I had a week free. I'll get a day here or a day there where I don't get booked, and then that's my day off. But where I'm at trying to build my business, I'm like, hey, if they want to work, cool. But that's why I'm trying to bring people on the team now to take that back, to give myself some days off, and they could fill in potentially. But I'm at a point where I can't say no to work. I don't want
Right.
I don't want any resistance for them coming to me.
Right. Well, and you're still in the building phases, right?
Mhm.
Like you're not, I mean, you are full time, but you're still really trying to grow it. So, and I was that way too until about a year ago. We have an online ordering schedule, and
Yeah.
I just turned off weekends. So they can't book us on weekends. And people ask, often, can you do a shoot on Saturday? I'm like, I'm sorry, we don't work weekends. And it's like a hard no for me. I do have a couple shooters who will do it, but for me, for my own sanity, I need those days off because Monday through Friday is booked for me. I'm busy.
Yeah. No,
Busy.
I think what I was going to with it was that I would love to eventually have enough people and enough availability from those people that they could choose to only work 4 days and they would overlap and stuff. I'd love that for people to be able to have 3 days of their life if they wanted it. If they wanted to work 5 days, I'm not going to stop them, but to allow them to be employed and not have a question mark if they worked 4 days would be cool, I think. And to offer them an opportunity where they can make enough money that they were happy about working 4 days, you know what I mean, and having a life. So we'll see. That's a goal I'd love to get to at one point, but that's I don't know how to get there yet. It's like the calendar. I don't know how those days are going to pop up, but I know someday.
You just keep manifesting that. Just put that out there. I know you have like a hair floating over your camera lens.
Here, let's just FYI. I have 2 dogs and 3 cats currently. So yeah.
Oh my, you have a house full.
So the German Shepherd, that hair is every
no
day.
joke.
My trunk that I use, my Pelican roller thing that I use for all my video and everything. I lint roll it like you would lint roll a shirt.
Wow.
I do that with that. So.
I have a Bernedoodle who doesn't shed. She's hypoallergenic. So
always one step ahead of me, Rachel.
I am. I think ahead. I think about these things.
But this is why I reached out to you.
Yes. Listen to the old wise one.
Yes. Although I think old is probably not the term because I think I'm older than you. So
I don't know. How old are you?
Oh, I'm old.
Let me guess. I would say you're 40. I hope I'm not being mean right now. I'm just going to say it. 42.
62.
Are you 46? There's no way you're 46.
No,
42.
I said 60.
You're not 62. Yeah, right. Yeah, right. I was actually thinking that. I was like, I wonder how old Neal is. I never asked.
No, yeah, I am. You know what? I got to the age where I'm like, wait, I'm 44? No, I'm 45. Yeah. Yeah.
So 45. You're 44 or 45? You don't know?
45.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yep. I'm 39. I'll be 40 this year.
There you go.
Yeah.
Nice.
I got a t-shirt in the mail yesterday that says 40licious.
Oh.
Like rose color.
Where did that come from? Just randomly showed up in your mailbox?
Yes. They just knew my birthday was coming. No, I saw it on one of those Instagram ads, that pop up for the little clothing stores.
Oh, gotcha.
I'm a sucker. Oh, it's the worst.
Listen, when I was 18, I'll never forget. If you want to talk about good marketing, when I turned 18, Bic sent me a shaving kit in the mail, shaving cream, all this cool little stuff in a cool little box. It said, "Happy 18th birthday." You're whatever.
You're now a man.
You're a man. Now you're a man. Man.
Yeah.
So there's some good marketing for you right there. So, I just thought maybe, somebody sent you a 40th birthday arbitrarily just, because they knew.
No.
They know you're 40, Rachel. They know.
I'm not 40 yet. I'm 39. Thank you. And I have 9 months left to enjoy the 30s.
Oh, you got 9 months? Okay.
November.
Oh, okay. Oh,
yeah,
you're fine.
I got a while.
You're fine.
And I have big goals by 40. We're going to have 4 doors. We're buying investment properties. So those are some of my goals. I want to have a 6-pack when I'm 40. So I'm working out like a crazy woman. Just need to eat better. That's my problem. I like sugar.
I'm so bad with sugar. I have the biggest sweet tooth ever.
Oh, I'm like a child. My kids are like, "Mom, can we get cookie dough?" I'm like, "Yes, we can. Let's go to the store."
I just keep waiting for my wife to yell at me because every night you can hear like the whipped cream.
Oh my gosh.
Because I literally am getting like pudding and putting whipped cream on it.
Wow. Yep.
Yeah, that's a recent thing. I think I'm maybe 62 because all of a sudden I'm like, ooh, pudding is so good.
Pudding, interesting.
Yeah. Tapioca, actually. I've just found that I like tapioca. I never really knew that before.
Doesn't it have like the little balls in it?
That does not sound appetizing, but yes.
It has like those little jelly tapioca balls in it.
Yeah.
Whatever those are.
No, literally.
Is it the Swiss brand? Do you know what I'm
What is
talking
the name
about?
of the
Because
brand?
I think
Huh?
it's like Swiss something. I don't know. There's one that's like Swiss. My husband gets it. It's tapioca. I'm pretty
Yeah,
sure
no,
it's tapioca.
I
It's
don't know if
really
it's
good.
I don't know if it's a brand, but yeah, no, like it is weird because I'm pretty sure it's rice in there, but it doesn't seem like rice. It's different. Like the texture is we're gonna go. Let's listen. The podcast is called Shooting the Shit, and right now we're going down the rabbit hole of tapioca. Okay, so
And when two people with similar focus issues get
yes,
together, it's fun. We just go with it.
neither of us have been diagnosed formally, but definitely ADHD. For both of us, great combo. So, but no, but listen, I fell in love with the tapioca literally just a couple weeks ago, and then the other day I went and I thought I got tapioca. It looked exactly the same, but it was rice pudding, and
Oh,
apparently they are very different. While like one's a little whiter, and the rice pudding literally tastes like you're eating rice in it more, which not as big. It's nowhere near as good. Tapioca is way better, and
Yeah.
yeah, tapioca is more like this weird, like you say, balls in it. Um,
they're like little chunks of fruit snacks, but they don't taste like fruit snacks,
oh
right?
yeah.
Like, so that's
Also,
they're like
your
jelly little.
FYI,
Yeah.
your descriptions are not helping. They're terrible.
Okay, I'll just shut up. I'll just stop talking.
No, just kidding.
It's fine. It's
No
fine.
one's ever gonna buy You cannot sell tapioca.
No,
It's
no.
like chunks of fruit.
It's
that
got
sounds-
little balls in your mouth.
Little balls, and
Okay.
chunks of fruit. Tapioca. Buy some today.
Right. Right.
Yeah. No, you're making me think of what's that old like Christmas fruit Jello thing?
Oh, fruit cake?
Oh,
Fruit cake?
yeah. It's a much simpler name than
It's
fruitcake.
fruit cake. Yes.
There you go. There you have
Yeah, I
it.
don't think I've ever actually. Well, maybe I've eaten it once. Just yeah.
So anyway,
Yeah.
nothing to do with real estate photography, except for
No.
if you want a good snack, a little bit of whipped cream and yummy. Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go.
Dollop it up. I get Starbucks every day and I get extra whipped cream on my Americanos. And they're always like, extra whipped cream? I'm like, yes, I don't drink an Americano for the low calories. I drink it to put the whipped cream on top and then eat the whipped cream with my straw in the car, in the parking lot, and then I leave. It's a problem.
Do they seriously question you on that? I feel like
Sometimes they're like, whipped cream? And I'm like, yeah, extra whipped cream, please. And they're like, okay.
this has been my entire theory about I'm not a coffee drinker really. I don't drink coffee. But this has been my whole theory about Starbucks is that it's really nothing to do with coffee. It's just people that want to look cool while having a milkshake. Do you know what I mean?
Yes, that's definitely it. The green straw just does it for me. But yeah, it is so much sugar. Like most of those drinks are just, yeah.
I mean,
And it's like $5.24 for my Americano today. I'm
Yeah.
like, that's obnoxious. Like any other coffee stand, an Americano is like $3, $3.50. You know, it's literally like
I'm not
2
judging
shots of
either,
coffee
like-
and water.
I love a good milkshake too, so go for it. But you know,
Yeah.
you
Heck
just
yeah.
you feel like an adult still, like you're not like just going, I got a milkshake.
Right? It's like a classy milkshake.
Got to start my day with my coffee.
Yeah. The whipped cream's a must.
Cool. Well, I don't know.
Yeah.
I think that was maybe our first ever podcast, Rachel.
Oh
What do
my
you think?
gosh, so exciting. Yay.
Cool.
Thank you.
Well,
Yeah.
great. Well, we hope that everyone will tune in next time where we will probably talk a lot of real estate and then ramble on shooting the shit about something else as well, something totally arbitrary.
Thank you for tuning in to our first podcast of many. We are very excited to be here with you and to share our industry knowledge and our mindset and grow along with you guys. So please tune in next time.
Talk to you soon. Bye.
Shooting the shit.
Shoot in the shit.